The writings of philosopher Prince Israel Zaar. Title: The Doctrine of Apism. I now read, denying the human in the human is like denying the heat in the sun. Be thou king, queen, princess, or prince, thou art human, just like anyone else. A mortal being, capable of positive indelibility and positive monumental deeds, PMD. Fall not to the apist or racist temptations in denying the being of others as a primitive survival strategy, PSS. But isn't there a history of this, where some have used God or artificial constructs to justify the legitimacy of their supremacy over the being of others? Yes, there is. And there were opinions and objections raised by anti-royalist, anti-apist, and anti-racist. Anti-royalist reminded us once again. Royalism was the philosophy of old dynasties where royals rule and were seen in delights and rights of divine rights of king, with unquestionable powers, authority, and dictates. For all humans were less of a royal and should be treated and discarded as an object or thing, or at worst treated as an animal. Down with the king was the words of the British and Oliver Cromwell, as was the French with liberty, equality, and fraternity. Then came the era of great philosophers upon which religious and monarchical powers ceded to freedom, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. To all men they think, but not to women and others. So became the devolution of the effort to equalize power. Power was taken away from kings and popes in the trusting of the scientific methods of facts and the search of truth as per the greatest philosophers of time. But the hatred of the others unlike us theory persisted. This secret code of we are divinely and intellectually or inherently better than others became the founding documents of the later centuries that has become the struggles of today. Refusing the dignity of all humans and using God, science, technologies, wealth, power, or brute force to coerce, dominate, and control others at all cost, through all institutional mechanism of power, IMP. The anti-apist went back down history lane. The conquest of Norman in 1066 and the ensuing crisis brought to humanity a great people of great minds that built great civilizations and later empires, the great Anglo-Saxons. With this philosophical self-awareness of greatness, some marginal few will soon misinterpret and misuse this greatness to create cults of power concentration that would soon evolve into seeing others humans as less or too primitive to be treated with human dignity or being respected as fellow humans. Not to be bored with the history of the ancient world, the victors redefined and ordained a world in their image, seeing others as the missing link between themselves and a state of nature. The anti-apist has this to say: man, the jungle, and ape became the connective tissues that would later define conquest, discoveries, and creation of civilizations or nation-states. Humans as ape came from Darwinism, but eugenicism, pseudosciencism could only accept the compromise that man is ape, but us. We are human, and anything less of us is. Pseudosciencism became the science of time, and racism was hatched, using apism as justification to treat other fellow humans without moral conscience, guilt, or fear of the wrath of God. The doctrine of discovery took away the guilt or fear of the wrath of God, and on the contrary, regarded conquest and discovery peoples as divine. The falsification of God, science, and good conscience brought apism and racism, the cults of later domination and control-based societies, DCBS. Though not in its entirety, for millions of good humans of all stripes have died fighting against racialized cruelties, apism philosophy has been a small but powerful force of Saxon or Anglo-Saxon American New World racial identification strategy, policy, system, religion, tradition, culture, institutions, laws, norms, mores or ways used over centuries to depict non-Saxons as inferior, depraved, primitive, savage, unclean, cruel, evil, satanic, or paganic that needed to be cleaned, civilized, educated, taught, moralized, humanized, tamed, culturized, directed, and led. Apists see every human being as an ape with a tail, except them. The doctrine of apism used for racism has only created havoc to humanity. The skin, apist racism, or the mind, positive creative imagination, PCI, and positive indelibility deeds, PID. Isn't that part of the call for the multipolarity and multilateralism of civilizations and multidimensionalism of the human creed to see itself beyond one race, skin tone, or through the reductionism of apism, racism, or binarism? Humanity must evolve and move on from the cruelties conceived and executed by the apism agenda. Be a better human. This is philosophical, not empirical. The Wisdom of Zaarrianism, philosopher Prince Israel Zaar, February 8th, 2026. The background video is Trianglerism, Immersive Inventive Art. Hope you enjoy listening. Leave a comment and subscribe.